WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Leaf Software Solutions, offering production-grade AI. Leaf AI Studio delivers through subscription-based engagements. More at leafsoftwaresolutions.com.
Like many Americans, I've spent the last few days watching the protests in Minneapolis unfold. Scenes of demonstrators moving through snow-covered streets reminded me of a song written over 50 years ago, Winter in America by Gil Scott-Heron. The song was released in 1975 during a period that felt strikingly bleak to many Americans. The optimism of the 1960s had given way to disillusionment in the wake of the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, and the resignation of President Richard Nixon. Trust in institutions was eroding, and economic pressures were mounting. Rather than offering slogans, Winter in America observed the moment quietly, reflecting on the decline of democracy and the emotional weight of a country that was losing its sense of direction. As I listened to Winter in America, I was reminded that this song was engineered and co-produced by Robert Hosea Williams, a native of Princeton, Indiana. On this week's show, we'll look back at Williams' work as a producer with a focus on the recordings he made with Gil Scott-Heron. Let's listen to Winter in America.
And now it's winter. It's winter in America. Yes, and all of the healers have been killed, sent away. Yeah, but the people know it's winter. Winter in America.
That was Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson with Winter in America, engineered and co-produced by Robert Hosea Williams. Williams was born in 1936 in Princeton, Indiana, the county seat of Gibson County in the state's far southwestern corner. While his career would eventually take him far from southern Indiana, his family's roots in the region ran deep. His mother, Martha Alice Stewart, came from one of Gibson County's long-established black families. Her father, José Henry Stewart, was born in Lyles Station, Indiana, one of the most significant black settlements in Indiana. Founded in the 1840s by free black landowners, Lyles Station grew into a self-sustaining farming community with its own school, churches, businesses, and railroad access. For decades, it served as a center of black life in the region. Gibson County was home to several early black settlements formed by free black families migrating from the South in the early 19th century. These communities emphasized land ownership, education, spiritual life, and mutual support, values passed down across generations, even as many rural settlements declined in the 20th century due to flooding, economic change, and migration into towns like Princeton. Robert Hosea Williams' family left Princeton in the late 1940s, but the values of self-determination and cultural pride rooted in Gibson County found their way into Williams' production work, reflected in the socially conscious music he produced for artists like Gil Scott-Heron and Father's Children. In the early 1970s, Williams established himself as a recording engineer and producer in the Washington, D.C. area, building a career that placed him at the center of the city's vibrant but often overlooked soul and R&B scene. In D.C., Williams founded Red, Black, and Green Productions, named after the Pan-African flag. Under that banner, he worked with many R&B and funk musicians clustered around the nation's capital, including Father's Children, The Summits, and Dyson's Faces. In 1973, Williams came to the attention of the poet and singer-songwriter Gil Scott-Heron, who'd been teaching at the Federal City College in D.C. Scott-Heron had gained national prominence with his 1971 recording, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. Along with his musical collaborator Brian Jackson, Scott-Heron secured Williams as a producer and engineer for their classic 1974 release, Winter in America. Among the tracks recorded during those sessions was The Bottle, which would become one of Scott-Heron's best-known songs. We'll listen to that track now.
See that black boy over there running scared. His old man got a problem, and it's a bad one. He ain't done pawned off damn near everything. His old woman waiting for bottom. And don't you think it's a crime when time after time after time people in the bottom, there's people living in the bottom.
From the album Winter in America, that was Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson with The Bottle, engineered and co-produced by Princeton, Indiana's Robert Hosea Williams. Let's hear two more tracks from Winter in America. This is Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson with Peace Go With You, Brother, and Rivers of My Fathers.
You my lawyer, you my doctor, yeah, but somehow you forgot about me. And now when I see you, all I can say is peace. Peace go with your brother. Let me lay down by a stream and let me be miles from everything. Rivers of my fathers, could you carry me home?
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Leaf Software Solutions, offering production-grade AI. Leaf AI Studio delivers through subscription-based engagements. More at leafsoftwaresolutions.com.
I'm Kyle Long, and you're listening to Cultural Manifesto. On this week's show, we're exploring the work of the engineer and producer Robert Hosea Williams. He was born in Princeton, Indiana in 1936. Williams is best known for his collaborations with Gil Scott-Heron. Before working with Scott-Heron, Williams produced sessions with the legendary Washington, D.C. funk band Father's Children. The group was known for their tight vocal harmonies and socially conscious lyrics. The recordings Williams engineered for Father's Children were not released at the time, but decades later they appeared on an archival album issued by the Numero Group, titled Who's Gonna Save the World? Finally, bringing to light the band's distinctive sound and Williams' role in capturing it. We'll hear 3 tracks from that record now. Everybody's Got a Problem, Who's Gonna Save the World, and Dirt and Grime.
Everybody's got a problem. Everybody is sobbing in their cells. 'Cause everybody wanna everybody else. Everybody's got a problem. Everybody is looking for someone to love.
Gonna save the world now. Gonna save the world now. And I know it's in the hands of
The story of my lifetime. In my dirty, filthy habitat is where I got my habitat of cheating, stealing, never feeling pain of a brother, you dirty mother. Ha, ha, ha. Look how far we are.
That was Father's Children with Dirt and Grime, produced by Princeton, Indiana's Robert Hosea Williams, best known for his work with Gil Scott-Heron. Williams worked as an engineer and co-producer on 3 albums from Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson: Winter in America, The First Minute of a New Day, and From South Africa to South Carolina. We'll end our tribute to Robert Hosea Williams with one more track featuring his work with Gil Scott-Heron. From 1975, this is Johannesburg.
Now what's the word? Tell me, woman, have you heard about Johannesburg? They tell me that our brothers over there refuse to work in the mines. They may not get the news, but they need to know we're on their side.
That was Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson with Johannesburg, engineered and co-produced by Princeton, Indiana's Robert Hosea Williams. And that's all the time we have for this week. If you appreciate the arts and culture programming you hear on this station, please consider making a donation now at WFYI.org/give. And check out the Cultural Manifesto podcast at WFYI.org or wherever you listen to podcasts. Cultural Manifesto is hosted and produced by me, Kyle Long, and our radio director at WFYI is Roxana Caldwell. Thank you for listening.
Like there are 6 cardinal colors, and colors have always come to signify more than simply that particular shade, like redneck or got the blues. That's where you apply colors to something else, to come up with what it is you're trying to say. So there are 6 cardinal colors: yellow, red, orange, green, blue, and purple. And there are 3,000 shades. And if you take these 3,000 shades and divide them by 6, you'll come up with 500. Meaning there are at least 500 shades of the blues.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Leaf Software Solutions, offering production-grade AI. Leaf AI Studio delivers through subscription-based engagements. More at leafsoftwaresolutions.com.